we have a quality opponent.
Do you think that
You go ahead, sir.
deference?
Would you comment just on the
Age
tournament?
before beauty?
Could you comment on the tournament in general and the West region, and what those two situations look like to you that going in this year?
What tournament?
The whole tournament, the entire tournament field
Or would you like me
and
to
the
comment on it?
West.
Want me to go through the brackets?
Oh, no. I mean, you know, in the past, you talked about parity and so on and so forth. Do you see a failing against Kentucky?
Well, like last night, you're looking at the brackets, and, Fran Frischel, I know him very well, and he's got a good insight into the game, and he picked New Mexico to go to the Final Four, and he said, I'm not doing it because I coach there, and White King coached there, and says, and, he told me, they're a real deal, coach, they're a real deal. And I know Long Beach State's a real deal. I've now watched 4 games at Davidson. I know they're terrific. They're a very, very good basketball team with multiple guys that shoot it. Their 5-man could come down and drag and shoot the 3 as well as anybody in the country. And that's a very, very strong weapon to have. So there are so many teams that could go to a Final Four, so many of them. I mean, I saw Jay picked all #1 seeds and everybody, I seriously doubt that's going to happen. It could happen, but I doubt it. I think the 1 and 2 seed have a tremendous advantage going into the first round, but then after that, it's all equal.
You mentioned a few weeks back, kind of, it almost seemed like you were preparing them for the tournament. Mentioned in the past 2 years losing that first game out. How much do you think that will factor in just into how serious they take an opponent like Davidson that maybe they haven't seen much of?
They're going to see a lot of them on tape, but I think it's all different factors. When we played Cal just kicked up like they were much better than us. Last year, I thought we would have won the game. If Preston doesn't get hurt, I think we were in control of our destiny. We had a bad injury. Give all the credit to Morehead State. They made a shot at the buzzer. This is a tougher opponent, and I think both of those teams that we faced and we lost. So, are we better than those 2 years? You don't know. I do know that I'm real proud of this basketball team. They have fought real hard under some very, very adverse conditions this year, and always had a positive attitude, always treated people with great respect to their opponent. And they got the just reward by going down to the Garden and playing 4 games in 4 nights and pressing for 4 nights, and they had a lot of thrills by that. But I don't think the fact that we lost is going to help us motivate us anymore, because we are extremely motivated to play.
Is Davidson the kind of team that you can press? I mean, are their guards, do they rely heavily?
They are a great passing team, not good, great. They are a great motion shooting team. That's their forte. Very solid on defense. They trap the post real well. They're a very hard-nosed basketball team. They're a deep basketball team. And as I said earlier, they have a 5 and a 4 that won Player of the Year in the conference. And they went out to, anytime you beat Kansas in Kansas City, and they were in control of the game the whole way. They were in control of it. So they're a great basketball team.
Rick, they seem fairly unique. Are they similar to anybody you've played this year?
They're not. They're not. It's like, we have a young man that's very unique itself, Luke Hancock. They have about 6 guys like Luke Hancock in his style of play. He is. So they're very difficult to defend. Very difficult, because they have a lot of motion to their offense. They pass the ball extremely well. They can go inside, they can go outside. Their 4s and 5s put it on the floor great. They go right, they go left. Their guards, the other 3 guards, all handle well, all shoot well. They have a young man coming off the bench who shoots the lights out. So, I watched his center against Wichita State. I think he had 25 points and was great in that game.
This team seemed like it may even be more balanced than, I don't know how much you remember about the Steph Curry team in 08, the Elite 8, but does it seem like they're more balanced than that team was?
Yeah, very much so. If you just look at the way they shoot the 3, they're 11th in the nation free throw shooting. They're not going to beat themselves. They're not going to be. It'll be a very close, hard football game. I know that'll be a very close game, because they shoot it so well, they execute so well. And you can't put them to the line because they shoot free throws great. They don't turn it over. They score a lot of points and they don't turn it over.
Shane has missed a number of dunks. Is it a concentration thing? Is it?
You have to ask him. I don't know. I haven't discussed that with him.
A few weeks ago, Coach, you said every coach is telling their team right now, we can be UConn. And then the tournament, it was, we want to be the New York Giants. These mantras, how has the team kind of soaked them up in the run and I guess going forward?
I think all of those things, when I talk about like the Giants, what the reference I make is that the regular season sometimes really doesn't matter. If you don't have a great regular season, you can go on the postseason and have a great postseason. And so it's thrown out the window. You could still win, but it's not in certainly the play. I don't think it really, all the motivational techniques, once the ball's thrown up, it really doesn't matter. It's about matchups. Matchups play an awful big key to almost every basketball game. It's just like I told you, South Florida it was not going to be a good one for us in terms of the style.
Did you get your wrist hurt at dunking, trying to dunk?
I did try and I grabbed it.
Is that how you hurt it?
Yeah. Sorry, I did.
Did you dunk?
I grabbed it and I had to pull myself out. Either way.
With all the teams coming in for the first rounds, how do you feel like does the Young Center, will that do anything maybe for, I don't know, to enhance this program?
No.
Well, how do you feel people will go away talking about it? I mean, do you
I think
that
they'll
it'll
see
just-
it's the most spectacular arena in the country, but it's not going to help our program. It'll help the city economically. It'll help the city get more, the Youngster get more tournaments. And it certainly helps the hotels, the restaurants, and everything else. But we'll be freezing our asses off in Portland. You'll be in 75-degree weather, and we'll be with an umbrella. Are you coming with it? Okay. So you'll freeze your ass up there.
It's the teams over there, if Western Kentucky wins the opening round game, the other three Kentucky teams would all be playing here though. And Cal mentioned last night that you guys would win your conference. What does it say about the state of basketball, I guess, in general, about the Bluegrass State, what it means?
Well, it's great. I mean, Murray State is like Murray State, Davidson, Wichita State. They all could flat out play, all of them. Weston was a shock to a lot of people. It's great for them with a new coach that really is a great springboard into what he wants to do with their program. And then you have Bellarmine going for another back-to-back national championship. So for a small state, 3 million people, college basketball is alive and flourishing very well.
What has to happen in the next few weeks for you to be, how do you judge whether you're satisfied with the season, whether you think you got?
Well, I'm very satisfied with the regular season, very satisfied with the postseason tournament, and now it's a new season. And that's the way you have to look at it. We still have weaknesses that we've got to overcome, and only time will overcome those weaknesses. It's the players getting stronger and developing their skills. It's going to take some time, but it will be done. And what I always look at is the team reaching their potential, and the answer is yes. Now, will the team reach their potential in the postseason? You don't know until you play the game.
You used a very apt description of mosquitoes when talking about your front guards. Where did you come up with that, and how did you?
Well, those two guys, mosquitoes are always trying to get them off of you, get them away from you. That's the way those two guys played that tournament. It's Russ didn't shoot real well, didn't score real well. But I felt he played much better basketball in this tournament than he did in the regular season because he took good shots. He played great defense. To me, he was a much better basketball player in New York than he was in the regular season. I didn't think he was a very good basketball player in the regular season. He scored a lot of points, but took a lot of bad shots, shot low percentages, and I felt he took all good shots, even though he shot a low percentage, but he affected the game in a positive way for us.
It's a great example of that when Russ was all over the guy and he turned to, I guess he elbowed Russ or whatever, Russ went flying. I mean, is that
yeah, and he didn't, we tell Russ, if you're going to reach in the backcourt. Don't reach in the front court because we lost to Notre Dame that way. Gamble in the backcourt, play solid in the front court. If you're going to make a steal, and he's one of the few players that can do it, steal the ball in front of you, don't reach and get beat.
Siva, off that mosquito, so active defensively, but able to avoid getting fouls. Was there an improvement defensively in the tournament that he was able to?
Yeah, I think he played great at all phases of the game. He was exhausted in the last game, I will tell you. I had to milk that clock the last 5-6 minutes of the game because he had nothing left. He was totally out of gas.
With Russ, will there ever be a point where we're not like Russ-diculous and Russ being Russ like that? He will just hone it all in and kind of be that.
Well, I think he learned. I think he grew a lot defensively in New York. I think he really did. And I remember in the game was it now? Seton Hall. It may have been It was Marquette. He said, "Everybody stay at home." And he came to the timeout. Everybody stay at home on your man. I'll dig on the big guy. He said, "I'll take care of him and I'll get back to my man. Everybody stay at home." And you wouldn't even think in a million years Russ would have a defensive suggestion like that. So that was a great sign. I felt he really matured as a basketball player there. Did a lot of really good things on defense to help our team win.
How do you watch Selection Sunday? How do you kind of take in the brackets as they develop?
What should I tell them? Usually I stay and I look at it. They announced us in Portland. I walked out of the room, went home, I went to bed. Got up at 12:30, had the computer brought to me and watched film from 12:30 to 5:30. Texted my son at 5:15 in the morning, he got very upset at me. That's exactly what he did.
In 2005, you were really upset when you were a 4 seed. And what did that show you, though? I mean, as far as the way it all shook out?
It showed me to react the way I reacted today. Don't say a word, go home, watch tape, don't care where we play, what time we play, what type of, so, taught me that lesson. Don't react negatively to things that you cannot control. You know, don't react negatively, period, would be a great thing, but, you know, you can't control where they see you, how they see you, you know, we're excited to be part of the greatest event for 3 weeks. It really is an unbelievable event. We're very excited to be part of it. And there was a point in the season that, you know, when you lose your early home games in the Big East, and now you have to set a goal to win so many games to get in the tournament, and then you come away after all said and done with a great seed in the Big East Championship, you got to be real happy about it. So you can't worry about where you're at. And, so we're very excited. We'll get out there, and Davidson is going to get out there. Now, if you were playing at West Coast, if you were playing somebody from Seattle in the first round, and they're a 3-hour drive away, and you're traveling, then it would be difficult. But Davidson has the same problems that we have.
Will you have an infrared tie?
No, I don't. No.
Borrow pennies. One more, Coach. Anything else? You good? Great.
All right, guys.